Hello guys, today I'm recording one of my chess games. This was one of the games that I played in chess.com. Here my opponent tried to use the fried liver attack, and instead of going for some regular defense, I actually tried a new move or new attack which I saw from YouTube, and here is my game. So we start off regularly. He opens his knight attacking my pawn, I defend, moving his bishop. And here I decided that if I move my knight, there will be no way to defend that pawn. But anyhow, I move so, and then he goes for the fried liver attack. And here comes the main move, which is bishop to c5. So this move does a few things. Basically, it's welcoming white to capture with the bishop or the knight. If he does capture with the bishop, I can always move my king, but then he just immediately has to move his bishop, and I can basically harass his knight and just go for a good game. But instead of checking me with the bishop, my opponent took with the knight, trying to win material. Basically, he's forking my queen and rook. So over here, there's basically one continuation that really works out for me, and everything else is basically losing because I'm going to lose the rook in one way or another. And the key move is bishop to f2. This is check. Now the opponent can move, but basically if he does move, I can easily defend my bishop and we'll be having the same position. So the ambitious move to do is to capture the bishop and to continue on. And so my opponent does so. He captured it with his king. And now the continuation is knight takes e4, check. So at this point my opponent has a few places he can go. G1 seems to be the safest square, but there's also other squares. In any consideration, I can basically attack using my queen and my knight, and since my pieces are very close to the king and he's pretty much undefended. And my opponent chooses king to g1. Now guys, over here I did make a blunder, which basically gives all the advantage to white. I played queen to f6. Over here the proper move would have been queen to queen to h4, because even if my opponent did attack me with the pawn, I would take it with the knight, and after he takes, I would get him into check, and I can either do perpetual, or after I do check, my opponent will be bound to move to f1, and I can pin the knight with the rook, and will be somewhat even, and continue on with my attack. But my opponent chose queen to g1. Now once again, I could have neutralized here by taking the queen, and after king takes, I could have pinned the knight and winning the knight and the bishop for the rook. However, I played knight to d4. Now this allows for queen takes, and thus my opponent would basically be winning, because this rook is, I can say this rook, but I would have lost the bishop for nothing. Luckily for me that my opponent missed this blunder, and he played knight to a3. And he was thinking that I would capture over here and winning the rook, so he's defending with the knight. So over here I was looking the position at Stockfish, and later on I did that, and so I was thinking this would be a good move, queen to b6. Basically what it is doing is threatening double checkmate, because once I move the knight here, my knight will be checking and my queen will be checking, and the king has no squares to go. So I go along with it. Now my opponent spent some time here thinking about what moves to do, and he did play the best move, which is g3. It's kind of a passive move, but it's required because now he can save himself from the double checkmate. So over here I was thinking for quite a time, and after lots of consideration, I really felt like attacking, but realized that the king would just be escaping. So I first decided to pin the knight and save my rook, and black does have a chance here. He's a piece up. I'm sorry, white does have a chance here because he is a bishop up. And over here, he plays this move, which is basically attacking my knight. So over here, I was thinking of what to do because my knight's being attacked. I'm down a bishop, and if I play passively, I'll basically be losing. So I was thinking that this diagonal is still very vulnerable, and if I can double check, the king will not have that many squares and I can checkmate. But the only problem is that the queen is defending all the surrounding squares. So I thought that if I could somehow bring this bishop over here, attack the queen, and the queen would be much more restricted into the defense of the king. So the first step into doing it is the move d5. Now over here, once again, I'm just sacrificing a good amount of material and realize that this is basically one way because otherwise I would be losing either way, and I thought I might as well go with an attack. Over here, my opponent did capture the pawn, and this somewhat takes away the advantage that white had. Over here, basically by playing d5, I'm attacking the bishop, so he's either bound to move passively, and if he moves the bishop away from the board, then I'll basically capture it, and then I get to capture the knight, and we'll be equal. So he does take the pawn, once again attacking my knight, and over here I played this move, bishop to h3. This is a deflection. This is known as a deflection tactic. It's moving the queen away from the defense of the king. And over here, white's position is kind of troublesome. I'm threatening lots of mates on this place, and basically if the queen moves here or here, I'm going to take with the knight, and I'll basically be winning. And I'm still threatening the double check. Over here, I mean, there were not many moves that my opponent could have played, and I don't know if he saw it or not, but he did capture my bishop, and this allowed for a mate in 2. And if you can guess it, I'll give you 5 seconds. This is one of Mato's training type techniques. So the proper move is knight to e2, and this is a double check. The king has only one square to move to. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, he has 2 squares to move to, over here and over here, and both of which led to checkmate in the next move. White chose here and then checkmate. Well then guys, this is one of my games. I did make a few blunders, however I was able to retaliate back because of white playing inaccurate moves as well. And this is one of the strong counterattacks to the fried liver attack. I thank you for your time and see you another day. Bye.